I don't know where to start. I'm still in shock. I can't believe we've pulled it off, and we've pulled it off with that level of performance as well. Arsenal 2, Man City 0, the final score at Wembley. We've beaten two of the best sides in Europe, the world, in the space of a week. Huge credit to these players. Huge credit to Mikel Arteta, one of the best young managers in football. I think we've got to give him that title at the minute, and this really does show what he's capable of doing if the Cronkies are going to invest in him and in this Arsenal team throughout the summer. If he's doing this with the likes of Luiz, Mustafi, Joe Willock, these types of players, think what he can do with players that are a tier above that. It's so exciting. It's genuinely so exciting. I feel like I'm in love with Arsenal again. It sounds incredibly cringy, but the football we played was limited. Don't get me wrong, we had to sit on the back foot for a long time in this game. That's something we've not been used to doing, and it's something that we've done in the past and crumbled, especially towards the latter end of Arsene Wenger's career. But we defended properly, which is something this Arsenal team has struggled with for, well, my entire lifetime, really. Over 20 years of supporting Arsenal, it's been hard to see a really good defensive performance pre-2005, really. But we defended brilliantly. We took our chances clinically. We had a lot of chances. As good as we were, I don't think Manchester City were anywhere near as good as they have been previously throughout this season. And they made it easy for us at times. Garcia and Laporte, I thought, were very poor at the back. Mendy kept Aubameyang on side for our second goal. Walker was caught out an awful lot of times. I think we really played well today, and we took the chances that were presented to us, but individually these players were fantastic, and also the way they worked as a unit was absolutely brilliant. The first notable inclusion in the starting 11 was, of course, Maitland-Niles, who came in for Bukayo Saka, which I think came as a big surprise to a lot of supporters. And I think Maitland-Niles showed exactly why he was in the team this evening. I think he really proved a point as to why he should be in Arteta's future plans. I know there's been a few reports come out from the likes of David Ornstein, the Athletic recently, that we're looking to sell him on in the summer to raise funds. And that aside, the way he played against Mahrez was quiet tonight, but he did his job effectively and efficiently. We didn't notice Mahrez in tonight's game. And that's proven, that's testament to Maitland-Niles that he did his job correctly this evening. The one thing you do lack with Maitland-Niles is, of course, he can't put the ball in the box on his left foot because he hasn't really got much of a left foot. And that's where you do miss someone like Bukayo Saka. But defensively was fantastic. 1-on-1 was fantastic. Put his body on the line in every sense of the phrase today. And he was fantastic. Really pleased with him. But the centre-backs is where I really want to heap a lot of praise, because Kieran Tierney at left centre-back, amazing, getting the assist for Aubameyang's second goal. You could see that, I'll talk about that later, but he was brilliant on that second goal. He was brilliant at centre-half, defensively everywhere in terms of contributing going forward, trying to get involved as much as he can. Obviously, when he's not playing at left back or left wing back, he's not as effective going forward, but defensively, compare him to Benjamin Mendy of Manchester City. Different player. Defensively, fantastic, but also going forward, exceptional as well. Mendy, very good going forward. Defensively, incredibly suspect. And that's what I love about Tierney. Very young, very exciting. Defensively, fantastic. Offensively, fantastic. Really, I'm so excited by him. He's easily one of the best players we've had at the club in some time. Proper left back, proper defender. I love him. I'm absolutely in love with Kieran Tierney. David Luiz, redemption for that game against Manchester City earlier on in the season. Brilliant, and completely different player to the one we saw against Manchester City. And you've got to say, if you look at that game in isolation, that's the only real poor game he's had under Mikel Arteta so far. So I'm really pleased with how he's been playing recently. Delighted with his performance tonight. It was almost Mertesacker-esque of that 2017 FA Cup final. I don't want to go overboard, but for a centre-half, 33 years of age, okay, not overly old for a centre-half perhaps, but still in the twilight years of his career, playing some fantastic football. Defensively was there to absolutely everything, looks as fit as a fiddle. If he can continue playing this well, then he's completely justified that year-long extension of the club. So very pleased with his performance, the leader's performance, the captain's performance, and he's an asset to the team when he plays like this evening. He was absolutely phenomenal. Mustafi on that right-hand side had a very slight wobble early on, which could have been quite costly. Fortunately, he put that beside him very quickly, didn't let it get into his head, and was fantastic afterwards. The one thing I will say about Mustafi compared to someone like Rob Holding, his playing out from the back, his ability to get in front of a player and then play the ball out in an instant is fantastic. That's something that Rob Holding lacks. But Mustafi, as a whole, fantastic this evening. Apart from that slight wobble, brilliant. Bellerin, again, another player that had a slight wobble, playing it right into absolutely no man's land. And that could have been costly. Thankfully, it wasn't. But apart from that, fantastic. Danny Ceballos and Granit Xhaka, phenomenal. Really, really good. Ceballos, I think whenever we think of him as this creative player, and as much as he is creative and contributes to everything good we do going forward, he's a dogged player. He's a real flair player that is tenacious, similarly to the way Torreira plays. He's got the ability of Torreira to close down and tackle, but he's also got that ability to do those Santi Cazorla-esque turns, pivots going forwards. He's a really good hybrid player. I think that's the best way to describe him, and I just love everything about him, and he's playing so well. I had so many question marks about him a few months ago, but now he's playing phenomenally, and the Xhaka Ceballos midfield partnership is something that could potentially be consistent for the next 3, 4, 5 years. So I'm very excited by that. The way they complement each other is fantastic, and I really like as well that we're playing so well in the midfield without a defensive midfielder. We've spoken for years, ever since we had Francis Coquelin in the team, about how we've wanted a proper defensive midfielder. We haven't got one at the minute, but these players are complementing each other so well. They're both doing the defensive stuff as well as the offensive stuff, and it's just working brilliantly. They complement each other so well. Ceballos is really good in the tackle, really good in the interception, really good at getting out of tough situations, and it proves that we don't necessarily need a tough tackler in there that's just going to break up play. If someone like Ceballos can control the midfield alongside someone like Xhaka who's able to play out of danger, then they do work really, really well together. Ahead of them, Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette. Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette. I'm just getting so muddled up. So much happened in tonight's game, but that front three was electric. Lacazette was brilliant at holding up the ball, getting other players involved in the game. Brilliant at that this evening. Pepe on the right-hand side, where he should be playing, not on the left-hand side, I think. Right-hand side was brilliant. That ball in for the first Aubameyang chance. First Aubameyang goal was excellent. Worked really hard. Set up quite a few chances, to be fair, that could have led to goals. I think this was one of his best performances in Arsenal's shirt. Played a big part in the second goal as well, holding up the ball, playing it into Tierney, getting out of danger. Really pleased with him. And, of course, Aubameyang, man of the match, getting 2 goals. They just all work brilliantly together. Really, really good to see. And it's interesting that we've won this game without arguably one of our players of the season in Bukayo Saka. Didn't need to bring him on, didn't need to rely on his goals or assists. As I say, the only time when we could have needed him was when we had those chances through Maitland-Niles on the left-hand side, when those balls could have been whipped in by Saka, and you feel like maybe we could have got another goal there. But on the whole, not a massive miss, and now we've got him as an option for the final. We've got him as an option for the games against Villa and Watford, and it's just exciting that we've utilised the squad so well in the past couple of weeks. I mean, Reece Nelson scored in the game against Liverpool. Lacazette scored in the game against Liverpool. We're getting goals from different areas of the pitch as well, and that's what I'm liking. We weren't getting that under Emery. And remember under Emery, like a year ago, when we were getting peppered. Like every game, we were getting so many chances against us. Today, we were compact. We didn't allow City to get opportunities. We were battered at parts in this game, but we didn't allow them to get shots away. And when they did, we had Martinez between the sticks to get it away. We had Luiz at centre-half to batter it away. Just so much better than what we saw under Emery all that time ago. I realise that I'm now about 8 minutes into the video, so I better wrap this up. But I haven't talked about either of the goals yet. That first goal from Pepe, brilliant, brilliant work. Not just from him, but the whole team. 17 passes, I believe it was, contributing in the build-up to the goal. Brilliant whipped-in ball towards the back post where Aubameyang, with a sincerely underestimated finish, really, really tough to get that away. But it was a brilliant goal. And then that second goal, you could see it coming a mile off. The way those 3 players on the left-hand side linked up. Pepe holding it up well, getting away from a few players, passing it back to Tierney. Tierney, first time over the top to Aubameyang, who just had far too much pace for Garcia, who'd been sucked in. Lacazette holding off Mendy well, and Aubameyang, simple finish, trademark finish from him, past Edison to make it 2-0. We could have had more. We could have had more. I mean, City will argue that they had chances as well, and they did, but ours were definitely more clear-cut. We played on the counter very effectively. We were brilliant this evening, and I'm just delighted with how well this team has played in the past couple of games. To have beaten 2 of the best sides in the world, 2 of their full-strength sides as well. Let's not forget that. They weren't resting any players, either of these teams, and we've beaten them. Whether it was convincing or not is, it's up to you to make that decision. Possession-wise, we were dominated in both of the games, but in terms of chances created, clear-cut chances, we can hold our heads high. And the way we've played is with respect to our opposition. We were humble, as David Luiz said, and we've played to our strengths, and we've come out with brilliant defensive, resilient displays, clinical when we needed to be. I'm just incredibly proud of the team and the coach. Really, really good stuff. And there's been so many comparisons between Aubameyang and Thierry Henry, and I think the one thing you've got to say that Aubameyang has that Thierry Henry didn't quite have is longevity in his career. It's easy to forget Aubameyang's 31 because he's so fast and he's so good. And I'd be very surprised if he had less than 3 years still left in the tank. I think if he's able to keep that pace and able to keep that ability to score, then he's easily got another two years minimum at a top level. I think when Thierry Henry left us at the age of 30, he wasn't quite the player Aubameyang is at this level, at this age. Thierry Henry at 31 was not the player that Aubameyang is now at 31. I think there is a slight quality difference there, but Thierry Henry was very, very good in his early 20s when Aubameyang was still trying to make a name for himself. So, I mean, peaks and troughs, but Aubameyang right now is a huge asset to us. We have to get him tied down, build a team that's going to work to his strengths, because we've already got a very good core squad. It's just a case of getting one great defensive signing in, a case of getting, one other midfield signing in potentially, and then we're there. We're back amongst it, you would hope. Maybe not fighting for the league, but certainly fighting to get into the Champions League. But yeah, this video is way over 11 minutes long now, so I'm going to wrap it up there. Please do drop a like on this if you've enjoyed it. Revel in this moment because it is fantastic. I mean, how often can we say we've beaten Liverpool and Man City in the space of a week? Beautiful scenes, buzzing for the final, but we've got Watford and Villa next. Got to win those two games, and then we go into that game in the final with a lot of confidence and a lot of wins behind us. So drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, I'll speak to you very, very soon. See you later, guys.